Welcome everyone to Tarot and the Moons. My name is Ingrid. Let's get started. Yes, I have a little cold, so hopefully this will just leave my system pretty soon. But yeah, that's just what's going on in New York right now. Everyone's getting sick. So anyway, as you know, I look at the moon from both the Vedic side and as well as the tropical Western astrological perspective. And I like to focus on these two energies, the Vedic and the Western astrology, as an example of the fact that our emotions are not stationary, but rather they flow between these two astrological signs. In When we're doing a full moon or a new moon engagement. And it's my contention that over the years, as the years have passed, we can get more emotionally ungrounded. And I don't think that's an over exaggeration looking at the years that have gone by. And as we get closer and closer to a different reality, our emotions are our biggest gems, and we must learn how to regulate them, or otherwise our emotions can be easily hijacked by others with less loving intentions for humanity. So it's super important that we ground ourselves with our emotions, and also pay attention to those cycles of the moon that can trigger our emotions. In my opinion, the moon is always here to bring us blessings, because she's always turned toward the earth. So if you look at her, she's always turned, her light path is always turned toward the earth. And her perpetual dark side, right, is always away from the earth. So for me, it's almost as if the moon is determined to shed her light upon us in our darkest hours. So for this month of October, we're being asked to really think about us not controlling every aspect of an awakening process. This idea of controlling what will come is and will lead to an unexpected, chaotic flow, and it will have karmic consequences. So it's really important for us to be able to be in the natural flow of the awakening process, so that we can birth a new way to flourish naturally for everyone and for yourself, so we can do it in a peaceful way into the new age. And I say this because I did this video on Three Eye Atlas, that was literally shadow banned almost the minute I put it up. And there's in true to form, because when you see that video, I let you know there's a level of manipulation with the magician kind of coming in. And it's an orchestrated engagement, which is unbeknownst to a lot of people that are out there looking at Three Eye Atlas. And I'm someone that looks at coding, right? I look at symbology. And what is this called? Three eye, our third eye. We have to be able to look at our surroundings, activating our third eye. And I believe this full moon period is going to do just that. And for those that are very vulnerable to wanting to control and usher in an awakening process, they're the ones that are falling for the look over here, look over here, look over here with the Three Eye Atlas, thinking that this is an awakening process. The awakening process is not going to be an external thing, it's going to be an internal thing. And this brings us to this energy of this full moon. And although this full moon is asking us to be carefree with the ways in which we brighten our world, right? Because we want that awakening, we want that, the new world. We are also being asked to be cautious about every situation and almost certainly every circumstance that's being dangled in front of us. Okay, so we have to be very cautious during this period of time. Don't be so quick to believe everything you see and hear. when I did my meditation for this full moon, the word that appeared was adventure. And in Vedic and sidereal astrology, they tell us that this full moon is in the sign of Pisces, whereas tropical astrologers, Western astrologers, are telling us that this full moon is in the sign of Aries. Both of these energies can be quite adventurous because the Piscean energy can flow with the adventures within our psychic realm, within our psyche internally. Whereas the Aries energies, we can go into an adventure outside of ourselves, outside of our bodies. Is where the energies of Aries can take us, because it's very materially engaged, right, in the body form, versus the Pisces is not materially engaged. It's in the subconscious or the conscious awakening, right? So these two energies are interfacing with each other. One is an inner adventure, that's the Piscean energy, and the other one is an outer adventure in our lives. Now, whenever we're engaging with the full moon, we are coming to some sort of realization, right? Because the surface of the moon is being illuminated by the sun. Her entire surface, the surface that faces the earth, is being illuminated by the sun. And so this is the point in which our intentions have been harvested. The strength of this full moon, the strength of this full moon's brilliance is a gravitational pull that kind of connects us to our ultimate purpose here, right? So Pisces is the final sort of gateway of the zodiacs, right? It's a sign of dissolution, of karmic release. And it's also considered to be, in esoteric astrology, a watery womb where the lunar principle becomes the most sensitive to the tides of the collective emotions. So we're going to see the rise of the collective emotions during this full moon period until that new moon. And here, the moon is acting sort of like as a mirror of our psychic impressions of what's going on in the outer world. So our souls are being drawn into this space of compassion, but also into the space of illusion, as this lunar light, right, the full moon, refracts through layers of our memories, our sentiments, our emotions. Now, Neptune is the planet that rules this astrological sign of Pisces, and Neptune is all about emotions that have to do with illusions, deceptions, confusions, higher consciousness, cults, right? Sensitivities, and even the ocean waters, right? Like what's in the oceans. And a full moon in Pisces kind of evokes this empathy with the flow of the waves of the ocean. So there's going to be a mix of emotions as big as the waves of the oceans, if that makes any sense. You're going to go from joyful to sorrowful to boundless, deep emotional engagement, right? This moon in Pisces is also very much heightens our intuition, our dream sensitivities, and even our astral engagement. But I specifically think, because of this talk with the 3-eye atlas, that it's also activating our third eye engagement. It can also awaken, however, feelings of spiritual exhaustion. Um, so people might be just feeling exhausted, like not wanting to listen anymore to the world's sort of sorrows because it's emotionally affecting us at this point. Now, from the tropical Western astrologers, they're telling us that this full moon is in Aries. And what's Aries? Aries is impulsive. It's the energy of manifestation. It sparks spirit into matter, and it also corresponds with our individuation, right? Within this cycle of evolution. So this is like a new us being birthed, a new you being birthed, a new me being birthed with this Aries, because it's unlike Pisces, which is the last energies of the zodiac wheel. Aries is the first. And so here within a full moon in Aries, our emotional bodies are being affected here. And when your emotional bodies are being affected, that means your physical body can be affected. That means your emotions can also be drained. So there's a lot here that I'm going to say it's really important for everyone to go into this energy of self-care, right? Because this particular moon in Aries carries a karmic pattern of learning self-assertion. And with an Aries moon, we know that Mars, right? Mars is the planet that rules this astrological sign of Aries. And this is all about this energy of action, passion, fire, enemies, war, courage, and strength, right? So now we have this emotional resonance with a moon in Aries that's kind of expressing an immediacy, like this feeling of passion or enthusiasm, a warrior like energy that can be quelled a little bit with this energy of the Piscean full moon engagement, right? So the reflection is that this energy of Mars in water can be fierce, but it can also be fleeting, right? It can be very quick, right? And we need the flame in order to purify this process that we're going through in order to get to that space of ascension, which is something that resides within us. So all that to say is do what you can to go into the space of self-care to preserve your energy, because we're going to need the Aries energy. When the Pisces and Aries moon interact, they form a polarity, right? Because it's a water sign, Pisces, and it's a fire sign, Aries. So we have something that goes from empathy to assertion, surrender to my willpower, right? It's going to go into these two extremes, and we may feel just exhausted doing that. So again, very important, this full moon to ground. Pisces moon is going to dissolve what the Aries moon ignites, because again, Pisces, this energy of the ocean coming forward, right? And Aries is just holding a flicker of light, an individual light. And this is kind of like creating this cycle of initiation and release for humanity. So emotionally, this pair is oscillating between a tender heart and a heart that is filled with tension, right? Pisces feels what Aries cannot articulate, because Aries goes into a warlike state, while Aries acts on impulses that Pisces can only dream about. So, this interaction is one that's seeking that very union within ourselves. Where in ourselves do we need to go into the union of water and fire, right? Where in ourselves do we need harmony with these very strong alchemical elements, right? So we can also see that these elements are instinctual in a lot of ways, because you've got the instinct or the intuitive senses of Pisces, and you've got the instinct and the intuitive senses of Aries, kind of going out there and really creating an alchemical change within our bodies, right? So the deeper inquiry here when we see these two energies is, we're being asked, what is your belief system? That's what Pisces is asking us. What is your belief system? And then Aries is saying, and what's your identity? Who are you? In other words, what is it that you believe in? And who is it that you think you truly are? Because these two things have to be synergized. They have to go into the space of harmony. If your belief system is not matching who you are in a disharmonic engagement. Your fire and your water energies are both in the space of destruction. You have to come into the space of balance, which means being true to the belief systems that you are engaging in. Okay? So before we move on to the next slide, I just wanted to remind everyone that when you get to that last quarter moon, that's the moment that you want to do this integration, right? You want to make sure you integrate and balance these fire and water energies within yourself. And you want to start taking responsibility for what it is that you are activating at this time and what it is that you're trying to reset. So you're going to do that at the last quarter moon. All right, let's move on to the next slide where I'm going to be discussing the tarot players for this full moon. All right, so just to recap here, our emotions are swinging between these two axes for this full moon period of time until that new moon. So this is what we're going to be battling with, our emotions within ourselves. And again, Pisces is ruled by Neptune, Aries is ruled by Mars. All right, so, and again, it's a full moon. So, who are the tarot players? Let's get to it. So, when we're speaking of Pisces, again, ruled by Neptune, and the two cards that we're going to be interfacing with, the two tarot archetypes, are the Hanged Man and the Moon. Now, whenever we see the Hanged Man, and again, when I do the readings, I'll be gravitating towards one of the four that we're going to be working with. But when we see the Hanged Man, this is about having discernment, right? That's what the word there is. It's about having discernment. It's about um, stagnation, impulsiveness. Um, those are all can be challenges to the Hanged Man. And sometimes this energy has us feeling trapped, has us feeling confined, has us feeling limited in some way or needing release in some way, or just the word sacrifice too comes into play here. And again, this is like a very general reading, right? And again, the more challenging one is, trying to get rid of negative patterns that we have and turning our lives sort of upside down because of it. Now, when we are dealing with the Pisces, we are also dealing with the moon energy. So this is why I think this particular full moon is very powerful, because this archetype is activated here. And when we see the moon tarot card, we are speaking about intuition. And again, remember, illusions comes in, dreams, sometimes deception, anxiety, fear, misconceptions, misunderstandings can also arise, right? So again, you want to be very, very grounded with your emotions. On its more challenging, the moon is about releasing fear. It's about unveiling secrets. It's about um, putting the truth forward, no matter how dark it is, right? Like the moon is very honest that way. If you have that moon archetype, it's very honest that way. And it's not in the interest of deceiving the self or deceiving others. So this is the energy of um, Pisces. And then we have Aries. Now, Aries is ruled by, again, Mars. And the two archetypes we're going to deal with is the Emperor and the Tower. So already on a global scale, we can see that there's going to be a tower moment for some leader, right? But for our purposes that we're doing this engagement, and that's like, getting into the specifics of what's going to happen, right? For our purposes, understand that if you get this card, it is about stability, structure, protection, authority, ambition, right? So it's about control. And remember what I said before, don't go into the space of trying to control the awakening process. We do have to be disciplined and fearless and focused with our spiritual practice, but we don't have to control the outcome. Right? So you want to be very careful with this particular energy. And it's more challenging. We're talking about abuse of power. Someone who abuses power will likely engage with the Tower moment this time between now and the new moon. But it can also be rigidity, stubbornness, lack of discipline can be a challenging aspect of the particular archetype of the emperor, and lack of control. Okay, obviously, this is also the energy of the father, paternal engagements, and paternal issues. Now, when we are engaging the Tower moment, the Tower is all about chaos, destruction, sudden upheavals. Um, Sometimes this can be even bankruptcy. Natural disasters can come under this engagement, and revelations, also confusion. So, right, this is really feeding into that Neptunian energy as well. Now, when we are, and all of the challenging cards, such as this one and even death or judgment, etc., they all have something to teach us, right? But if you are resisting letting go to improve, right? This is the improvement card to improve your situation. You're going to not necessarily avoid a tragedy moving forward, right? This is definitely the time to pick up the pieces and start something new, okay? So if you get this, this is about you improving your situation, all right? And again, we are moving between these two axis points. Yeah, and let's get to your reading on the next slide. For those of you that are curious, I am focusing on the moon energy. So I'm looking at your moon astrological signs when I'm doing these readings, but I have been told that if you look at your ascendant and you look at your sun sign, you kind of get this bigger picture story. So if you want, take out your journals and start journaling and see what happens. For me, the moon, obviously, it's about your feelings, what you're going to be feeling and going through emotionally during this period of time. The ascendant for me is how you get to your goals this period of time, and then the sun energy is where you're headed. That would be the goal, right? So that's my spiel on that. I am using the Oracle deck by the Woodland Wardens Oracle deck, and I'm also using the Woodland Wardens Tarot deck as well. I just felt like trying to get some wisdom from the animal kingdom right now is very much needed. So again, I'm going to be either gravitating toward the moon or the hangman for you, and I'm going to gravitate towards the emperor or the tower, depending on where my energy goes. And last but not least, we will begin at Aries and work our way around and end at Pisces. But remember, our emotional streams collectively is swinging between these two axis points, all right? So let's get started. I was going to go get my tea, but it's too late now. Let's see. What do we have here? We've got the Seven of Wands, right? Like this feeling of being on the defensive, this feeling of being. So I'm being drawn to the Emperor here because I feel like we don't want to be in that space of being in the defensive mode, which is very Aryan in nature. What we want to do is soften our gaze, right? So in my card, the Emperor has a cloth over his head. And that is to soften the mind, soften what you're thinking about, soften your reactions to things, right? You don't have to be the wasp energy, right? Like you don't have to sting, you don't have to go on the defense. What you have to do is pause. And your willpower is not showcased here with this energy of fighting, fighting, fighting. Rather, it is more shown through your ability, again, this is the big lesson, your ability to control not what the outcome is, but more of your own emotional stream. Remember what this offering is all about. It's about balancing and regulating our emotions, right? So have faith that you can do this, because this energy right now, during this period of time you're gonna feel exhausted. So you want to activate the part of the Emperor energy that with stillness can move mountains, with stillness can exude power. We don't have to go into this realm, right? Let's see what you got here. The squirrel and the chestnut. Preparation. So maybe one of the ways that you can like not do this fighting and defense mode is to prepare for it. So if you know that something's coming up in the next 2 weeks, and you know something's going to be unraveling, prepare for it. How do you prepare? Meditate. Go into prayer. Go into a state of stillness. Go into moving your body, releasing the energy that's built up in your body. Do not go into fight mode. It's not going to bode well with you. Prepare for it and figure out different tactics. All right? Next we have Taurus babies. Beautiful energy. You've got the Queen of Wands. So already I feel like if you're going to have that queen, let's see what the moon energy is going to bring you, right? Because the Queen of Wands is someone who throws herself into the environment, right? I love black hats, by the way, guys. But she throws herself into the environment and she becomes the sunflower in this case, right? Let me get my wand. She becomes the sunflower, right? She becomes the thing that she wants to create. She's part of this world and she's looking forward, right? She's looking forward. And for me, the moon is really exploring or showcasing or illuminating an aspect of yourself that you've yet to explore, because the cat is looking forward, right? So there's something here that's going to be illuminated that really crowns you as the Queen of Wands, the Queen of creativity, the Queen of your own making. Beautiful. I love that for you. And let's see what the Oracle card says for you. Can you guys see that okay? The porcupine and anemone. Boundaries. Very good. So if we're talking about boundaries here, and that's the guidance that you're getting, it's really important to have what? Emotional boundaries. You want to become what you're creating, but make sure that you have emotional boundaries, because that's going to keep you safe. Safe from what? From going and spiraling into this emotional water when you've got fire to create, when you've got things to make that are like spiritus, like literally spiraling out of you. That's a spark of life. You don't want the water energies to drown that. And one of the ways that you can do that, right, to not be exhausted, is to create healthy boundaries. Nice. I think I'll put the tarot cards on top, actually. All right. So the next one that we have, I'm creating a mess here. Gemini, baby. So what do you have? Gemini, you're hard at work. You've got this 7 of Pentacles. You're hard at work. You are literally, the fruits of your labor is what you are observing. I'm being brought to the Tower card here, not because you're going to get the Tower, but because remember what I spoke about before. You want to be in the space of being open to improvement. Is there anything else that you can improve, right? From all the hard work that you've already done. Is there something that you can improve? And remember, the 16th card adds up to a 7. So there's something here about you needing to have faith in what it is that you are creating and what it is that you're working toward, right? So you have to ask those hard questions. Is my foundation strong enough? Am I solid? What is the purpose? What am I doing? What is the point? Who's this for, right? Is it for my own satisfaction? Because that's also going to crumble, right? So you want to do it for a higher purpose, a higher sort of devotion, if you will, for all the hard work that you're doing. And let's see what the skunk and magnolia, protective. So protect your work, right? Protect what you've done. Protect your foundation. Build it up. Protect it. Make it strong. So there's something here for you to start looking at. And the fact that you got the skunk, there is something here that you need to rework. There is something here that you need to build better, right? Because the skunk is like, ooh, something stinks. It's not really solid right now. There's a potential for it to, the senses are not being activated, which is what I was talking about before. It's like, what is the purpose of this? Is it just for your selfish reason, or is it for something greater, something bigger? Okay. Next we have Cancer, baby, sun, moon, or rising. And you've got the 5 of Cups. You're not happy with what you have. And I'm being drawn here to the Hanged Man, right? Like, you're not happy with what you have. You're not paying attention to what you have. You're not being in the space of gratitude, right? So whenever we see this 5, it's an internal chaos that you are causing. And so the Hanged Man is asking you to see the situation differently. Whatever it is that you're not satisfied with, turn it upside down. See the situation differently. Because if you did see the situation differently, you would see that there's an agreement, that there is an opportunity here for you, but your back is turned to it because you're only focused on what you've lost. So the discernment part is missing for you, right? It's not fully there. And so you're being asked for this full moon to really solidify what it is that you need to look at differently in your life and be in the space of gratitude. Let's see what your oracle says. The dragonfly and pansy, balance. So, right, this is so perfect, right? You can't make this up, because the 2 is about balance. Balancing what? What is it that you need to balance? Your emotions. Your emotions right now are off the scale. And this, of course, is for the Cancer, who's already very much in tune with her emotional waters, right? So you want to just balance out your emotions. Make sure that you're not overreacting to something, and be in the space of discernment. Sun, moon, or rising Leo. What do we have here? The 9 of arrows. So this is a fictitious, I'm gravitating towards the moon. So whenever we see this card, the 9 of arrows, it has this impression like, oh my God, it's a nightmare. What's going on? I don't feel well, blah, blah, blah. But that was actually an illusion. Or maybe some people say this is the illusion and the dream state is the real thing. But regardless, there's an illusion here, right? That's why I was gravitating toward the moon card, the reflection. I want you to look at your situation and really dig deep, because there is a gift here that's coming down from the heavens that wants to literally gift you with knowledge, but it only comes through if you take the time to reflect on those deeper emotional waters. Why did you have this experience, right? What's the real meaning behind going through those circumstances and situations, right? Let's see what your oracle guidance is. Beautiful. The beaver and the birch, home. I should have said it before, but every time we see the 9, it is about family matters. Excuse me. It's about family matters. It's about home. So there is something here that's asking you to re-look at your home situation. Analyze, right? Go deep into the waters of the home life. The perception that you have about the home or the home life situation is actually an illusion, right? And it's only an illusion until you become aware of what the real purpose and meaning is behind it all. Virgo, sun, moon, or rising. Beautiful. You've got justice. You've got balance. You've got something here that, and it feels very much the Emperor energy here. You've got something here that feels like you've got the monkey mind under control, right? This is a little monkey. And the monkey always, sword, this is the, oh my goodness, the arrows here represent the sword. So the sword is about thinking. So you already have within your grasp the ability to quell the monkey mind and balance it. Really nice, especially for this energy where everyone seems to be just in the space of their monkey mind. Also, when the Justice card comes up, there's a possibility of papers or legal matters that you may need to engage with. Let's see what your guidance is. The Frog and Lotus, metamorphosis. There's a change that I feel already occurred with you. I don't feel like this is something that's coming up. I feel that you are going to be seeing the fruits of your labor, the fruits of your ability to control your monkey mind has resulted in a metamorphosis. Nice. I'm gonna have to pause this and get some water or something. All right, I just had to go get something to drink because I have a cold and yeah, so the audio might I might have screwed up the whole audio. I'll see. So here we have, oops, the King of Pentacles. So for you, Libra moons, you are coming across an energy that's doing something magical, that's doing something fantastical, that's bringing something into the realm that no one has seen before. And I'm being drawn here to the moon energy because this is something that's coming out of your subconscious self. So you are creating something that is quite unique, and it's quite unique to you and what you have to share with the world. And it is going to bring you a lot of money. But it is something that's coming from the subconscious realms. And then you have here your oracle, the moth and the eucalyptus, an ending. Oh, so there's something here that's ending, that's closing up, that is finishing up here for you. Maybe it is a project that you brought forward that is coming from the subconscious realms. Maybe there's just an ending to that. You can put a bow on it. You've completed your mission regarding that. Nice, beautiful. Oops. Put that there. Then we have Scorpio, baby, sun, moon, or rising. We've got the star energy. And of course, why not bring in the alchemy of the moon? Whenever you have the moon, the star, or the sun, we know that we're talking about alchemy. And this is for the Scorpio, sun, moon, or rising babies. We know that we are allowing the miraculous to be spoken through us, right? We are allowing the realm of the angels to really take control and balance out the emotions that need to be balanced. And we are willing to go into the space of reflection, which is beautiful. The more we surrender, a lot of people don't like that word surrender, and I don't even know why, because for me, like, if you don't surrender, it means, it almost means like you don't believe, right? Like, you don't believe in the divine, because you believe you're surrendering to what? Like, when I'm saying surrender, it's you surrender to the divine. Why wouldn't I want the star energies to take the wheel? Of course I do. They know a little bit more than I do, right? So this energy, you're really embracing, and you're finally getting that. Let's see what your guidance is. So your guidance is coming from the raccoon and the sycamore. Curiosity, stay curious. Be in the space of the magical realms, right? Like, when you're doing this, it's like what I said before. This is this energy of going into the space of the mystical, the magical, the miraculous. So stay curious, and you're going to get a lot more of that fun miracle energy coming your way. Next, we have Sun, Moon, or Rising Sagittarius. And we've got this Empress energy, really nice. And why not bring in that Emperor, right? So this Empress energy is ready to be in relationship. Sagittarius is ready to hunker down, which is really rare for the Sagittarius to do. But they're really ready to hunker down, to be in relationship with other, right? To have the space of unity come forward. Beautiful. And I'm also drawn to this clearing, the waters, clearing a past trauma or past challenges that we've had with relationship to other. And you've got the weasel and pine, introspection. So yeah, this is that water energy that I was tapping into, to really go in and deep and analyze why it is that we're not, if we don't have that unity, why it is that we don't have that unity, and really let the past be washed away. And this is a perfect time to do it with a full moon activation. All right, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising. 8 of Pentacles. Nice. When I see the 8 of Pentacles, I'm always drawn to this energy of the infinite, right? There's an infinite potential here for you to make money. There's infinite abundance here for you to bring forward if you're a Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You just have to go get it. You just have to go get it. And that's not something that you are willing to do, because you're seeing everything. Oh, and I'm being drawn to the Hangman. You're seeing everything as very difficult or very challenging, or just not the way that you envisioned it. And you're really feeling this energy of, why can't it be easier? Why can't it be softer? And the point is that you have to turn things around, right? This is why the Hangman is here. And the 8 is an 8 that 8 goes like this, but it's also the number of infinity, right? So you have to turn things around, just tweak it a little bit in order for you to actually get those riches that are coming your way. I love this. New opportunities. This is the Hare and Oak. New opportunities are coming your way. They're definitely, I mean, I saw that. They're definitely coming your way. You just can't see it from, or I'm inviting you to look at it from a different perspective, and not one in which you feel that everything's a challenge, but rather see it from the perspective that, is there an easier way to do things without you having to sacrifice in your mind a lot, which includes even your body of work. Next, we have Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. We've got that Knight of Pentacles. Now, the Knight of Pentacles is someone that's going to go out there and start really sort of studying and assessing, and I'm being drawn to the moon, and assessing the situation. In fact, that Pentacles actually look like a moon to me. But assessing the situation, looking at the situation, trying to determine, okay, am I really walking so slow? Am I doing this so slow? Why is it moving so slow? Why can't it be faster? Trust me, If you're experiencing this slow pace, that's a great thing, because everybody else, we are speeding through life. So if you are proceeding at a snail's pace, that's a good thing, in my opinion, because it gives you time to reflect. It gives you time to study the path forward, versus everyone else might be tripping on themselves. Let's see what your guidance is. Oh, what a beautiful creature. The antelope and wheat. Nourishment. On your slow path, continue to nourish yourself. Nourish what? Nourish your emotional stability, right? That's what I want you to focus on. Nourish your emotional stability. Don't go off the rails, because you're doing great, Aquarius. And next we have Pisces. You've got the 10 of Pentacles. This is generational. This is ancestral information that's coming to you. And I'm being drawn to the moon energy here. There's ancestral information that's coming through you, that wants to be conveyed to you. And the ancestors are actually gifting you something. They're gifting you some money, a body of work, something, but it is generational. And you do have to acknowledge the different generations that have existed that have been gifting you all of these wonderful gems that you now possess. So definitely go into that space where you're reflecting on the gems that your ancestors have given you. Oh my God, look at that. The hawk and thistle. Graceful persistence. I love this card for you, because I feel that because you've been gracefully reflecting on your emotions, going deep into your soul, going deep into the ancestral roots, you've been able to persist gracefully. And that persistence is going to allow you to fly high. Beautiful energy. Wow, this reading was really positive. I loved everyone's reading. I want you all to just take your notebooks, take your journals, and really start analyzing what it is that you want to manifest and also let go of. All right. Be safe, and until the new moon. Bye-bye.